Today we're looking at lesson 2 and how to practice playing over chord changes with the pentatonic scale. We learn through practice to know the notes available for every chord that is passing by in a song. Here is the absolute fastest way to get there, I promise you. Number 1, practice riffs that match the chords of your song. A, musically. B, physically. So riffs that are in the same zone on your neck as the chord voicings that you're playing. Number 2, this is informed practice. So what we're doing is we're practicing, and while we're practicing, we know what it is we're trying to play, where it is under our fingers, and why we're choosing that riff or that note. By practicing, you're teaching your fingers instead of your head. So as a consequence, the riffs are going to be available to you when you want to use them at the jam. Our learning agenda. In this lesson, we're going to look at how to practice using chord shapes that you already know and the pentatonic minor scale that you mostly know. And whatever you don't know already, we're going to show you. We're going to turn these two simple ideas, chord shapes, pentatonic scale, into an instant riff landscape that will always be at your fingertips. Our practice strategy today is choose a song or progression that you want to practice on. Choose specific chord voicings that are going to get used. So you have to imagine yourself in the role of both the rhythm player and the lead player. We're going to match the pentatonic pattern type or shape to the chord shape that we are practicing with. If we're playing an A minor chord in the A form, then we would also practice the pentatonic scale in the corresponding A form in the same position to use while the A chord is playing. So, step 1, we're going to choose the song or progression. To practice over an existing song, you need to write out the chord progression of the song. For our example today, we're using D major in this position. We're using G major in this position. We're using F sharp minor in this position. And we're using A in this position. Okay. If we look at the chord spelling for that, you can see that this song is probably in the key of D, and we would consider this chord progression to be 1, 4, 3, 5. Okay? Step 2, we're going to choose the chord voicings we want to use. The cornerstone of this method of practicing is to use the same shape of the pentatonic scale as the shape of the chords we're using. There are 2 reasons to do this. Number 1, the chord shapes you already know. Okay? So then, number 2, what we're going to do is we're going to anchor scale shapes that you may or may not already know very well to chord shapes that you do know very well. And that's going to be mapping the unknown onto the known. It makes it a lot easier to get started with, and it makes it easier to lock it in. Here are the 5 chord shapes that I'm talking about. These are just the shapes that these chords will appear in. C, A, G, E, and D. And that spells caged, of course. Since we're doing a basic rock and roll vibe for this particular jam, we're only going to use our 2 most common bar chord voicings, A and E. Okay? Step 3. We're matching the scale shape to the shape of the chord voice for each chord. So in our example, we're using D, G, F sharp minor, and A. D, G, F sharp minor, and A. And the D, of course, we're playing in the A form. The G is in an E form. The F sharp minor is also in an E form. And the A is in an A form. We have the corresponding pentatonic scale diagram to remind us of the scale layout of the pentatonic in each position we're using. The best high-octane version to practice this is to put the scale diagram and the chord diagram, which I'm giving you, on your music stand when you're practicing these riffs. If you want a copy of the worksheet in PDF form that goes with this lesson, send me an email, bonner.harris@gmail.com, and I'll send you a free PDF copy of this worksheet. We're going to start off with the A shape at the 5th fret. Okay? So we're playing pentatonic riffs around the shape, the A form at the 5th fret, which is the D chord in our example. I'm going to play a riff and then strum the chord, and then play the next riff and then strum the chord. Follow along with the tab on the screen, and you can do this with me. Again, if you want a copy of the worksheet that goes with this, send me an email, bonner.harris@gmail.com, and I'll send you a worksheet with all the tab on it. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to do 4 riffs up and then 4 riffs down. And here we are with example 1A, which is the riffs going down, the descending riffs. Okay, so we're going to go. Now we're going to do those riffs going up instead. Last one. Okay, now we're going to go up to exercise C. So now we're going to be playing in the E form over here on the 3rd fret. Again, here's exercise C. Now I'm going to do exercise D. We're going to play the same set of riffs, but now we're going to play them in an upwards or ascending direction. Okay. Now we're moving on to the F sharp minor chord at the 2nd fret, which is here. We're going to be using the same pentatonic pattern, the E pattern, but now we're playing at the 2nd fret, exercise E. Okay, and now here's exercise F. Same set of riffs, but now in an upward direction. We're ascending. Okay, and now we're going to the A chord in the 0 fret position. This is exercise G, and these are riffs in A, but being played at the 0 fret position in the A form pentatonic. So being played here at the 0 fret. All right, here's exercise G. And here's exercise H. Okay? Same phrases, but being played in the opposite direction, starting low, going up. Okay. Our first group of exercises was just to get us used to working with the shape, these shapes of the pentatonic scale. Again, we're using the E form shape and the A form shape of the pentatonic scale. And these are 2 shapes of the scale you're going to use a lot. In session 2, what we're going to do now is we're going to audition a few riffs. So I'm going to give you some riffs to practice. In session 2, what we're going to do is we're going to try out some samples of some of the riffs that we just played and choose riffs that we want to put together to potentially use in a solo that we're going to create from these riffs. Here are our riffs. Here's example 2A, which is riffs going down. Example 2B is going to be riffs going up, okay? And I'm at the 5th fret here with my pointer finger. Just follow the tab on the screen. Here's the first one. Sorry, here's 2B, same thing but going up. And here's exercise 2C. Now we're going to the 3rd fret and we're playing some riffs over the G chord in the E form. And exercise 2C. Example 2D. Here's example 2E. Now we're going into F sharp minor at the 2nd fret, again playing the E form pentatonic. Okay, going down first. Here we are going up. And going up again. Okay, and then here are some riffs. Exercise 2G, we're going to be playing over A at the 0 fret, okay, an open A chord. So here we are going down. And here's another riff. Here we are again, exercise 2H, going up. Okay, that's it. Okay, now we're at practice session 3. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these riffs that we've been practicing with and we're going to string them together into a little solo. First, we'll quickly review one riff at a time, and then we will try playing them as a continuous melodic phrase. So exercise 3, we're just going to play along with the riffs at 90 beats per second, and I'm going to give you a little backing track section after I demonstrate each riff with the tab on the screen, so you can fool around with these riffs and play with them and get comfortable with them a little bit yourself. Here's 3A. Four measures of D. Exercise B. Four measures of G. Exercise C. Four measures of F sharp minor. Four measures of A. Taking track of the full structure. backing track of the full structure. Okay, so now we have a systematic structure for practicing. What we did today was we chose a progression that we're going to practice on. We chose the specific chord voicings we were going to work with. We matched pentatonic patterns to those chord voicings and practiced the specific pentatonic patterns we were going to play that matched each chord. Then we developed a collection of riffs that we could use to create a solo with. And our final step was, of course, we put some riffs together into a string so that we ended up with 4 measures of riffs. You can hear the difference when you work in this way because you have more structure and you have a sense of direction to the music that you're creating. You're creating music, you're not just scrambling around on the pentatonic scale. Of course, you can use this method with any song or any chord progression, and I guarantee it will transform your feeling of familiarity and your sense of confidence knowing where the riffs are and where the notes are as each chord is going by. So we're just working with the pentatonic scale. It's a very, very stripped down, simple scale. However, one of the reasons why we want to use it is because the pentatonic scale is super easy to embellish. You can add a minor note to it. You can add a 6 to it. You can do all kinds of things. You can make a hybrid scale. You can play the blues scale. And what you're talking about doing as you jack the scale up to be a little more expressive is you're talking about adding 1 note more than you've already been practicing. So we build on this foundation and then we can add the bedazzling to it with other notes as a second step. If you want a PDF copy of the worksheets that we used today, send me an email at bonner.harris@gmail.com on your screen here, and I'll send you a free copy of the worksheets. If you found this lesson helpful, which I hope you did, please hit like and subscribe. I am providing a separate backing track, and that backing track will show up over my shoulder here somewhere, and you can use that backing track to work through the different exercises on here on your own if you want to. My name's Bonner, and I hope you'll come back and visit me again soon. Now go practice.